on the scene, Dwayne and Janean, I'm bringing the facts, they know what I mean. Music comparisons, yeah, it's embarrassing. Up in the Ford, I feel like I'm Harrison. Back on the fast track, mighty and morphin', my name's Zach. Feel like a gentleman, top of my class, the legend, I'm feeling like 3 stacks. Hey, word to Aaliyah, taking it back and forth. I'm feeling so 1 in a million. I'm maybe like Travis McCoy, gym class hero, wanting a billion. Hey, Jay on the holiday.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's good? What's good, man? Welcome to the greatest audio music culture podcast of all. Music discussion, audio culture podcast, baby. You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Dwayne, joined by your favorite crew, my favorite crew, our favorite crew, everybody's favorite crew. Why? Because, well, that's just what we do, man. We crew around, you know what I'm saying? But starting with the ladies first, you already know, man, we got a full house tonight, all day, every day. So shout out right now to the ladies first. You already know Miss Bougie Thuggin, one true favorite cousin, queen of clash of herself, Miss Janean, rocking the Kango style fishing hat, baby. What's going on, cuzzo? How you feeling?
What's happening? It's so great to be here. I missed you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We missed you too, cuzzo. We missed you too. Tell them what you vibing on right now. What's that you vibing on right now?
This is a sparkling red Moscato wine, totally delicious. And then I'm not gonna. Maybe I shouldn't bring brands out because y'all not paying me, but I am doing that as well.
I know, right?
It's a beautiful blend of like peach, melon, mint. It's beautiful. It's definitely a vibe over here.
You already know. You already know. And I'm glad you said brands. Speaking of brands, I do know one thing. This episode is brought to you by the number one brand. I'm talking about number one champ boxers, baby. You already know, man. Hey, fellas, ladies, hey, get your best branded undergarments, man. You know what I'm saying? For your britches, make your britches look good. Give them that old Southern term. Shout out to my grandma with this. You know what I'm saying? Pull your britches up. But hey, they really are a comfortable pair of undergarments, man. They're for like athletic, comfortable, fashionable. They give you a little bit of everything, and they also have dope apparel to go along with it as well. So you can check out all types of things, man. They got different styles, different looks. We personally like the Jamaican look, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Guaman, hey, he already know. Shout out to, we like those, but they got so many different dope brands for you. Just head on over to their Instagram, man. Or matter of fact, before you even do that, just head over, Derrick, go ahead and take that John over,
Actually, in order to, if you want to go pick up their stuff, go to the link in our bio, and then you can go to the website from there. That link, you click on it, you're gonna buy the stuff anyway, right? So why not buy it and support us in the process? So go to the link, get you some stuff. Now these boxers are actually like the most comfortable I've ever worn. So I would say, if you want to go get some stuff, upgrade your life, maybe even get some boxes for the champ in your life. How about that? I think if you guys really want to get some stuff, get a good look, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Hey man. Hey man.
For our YouTube watchers, Derrick's gonna stand up really quick and show us the boxers.
Nah. I listen. I'm a businessman. I'm not a model.
Great point.
I was like, Derrick Khalifa out here.
Fair enough.
Now, I will, but they're great stuff to work out in, but to wear also just during the day. I've been wearing them. I've had them for the last 2 weeks, and I've been, just working out in them and everything like that, and perfect stuff. So the best boxes I've ever worn, because I was before this wearing Under Armour. I know it's too much information. I hate talking about my private life, but this is what we do. So yeah, go ahead and check out Champ Number One Boxers. They are a Black-owned company too, based here in Atlanta. So you actually support 2 Black-owned businesses by doing this. So please go check them out, and we appreciate your help.
Guaranteed to make you feel and look truly like a champ. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, y'all already see it. The hardest working man in show business, who just also lovely put that out there for y'all to go support and check out. And he is You already know the guy that don't play no games, the hardest working man in show business, the Podfather, you know what I'm saying? The man of many nicknames, including my favorite, the critique of, say it with me, people, mwah, artiste. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than Derrick right here. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro? I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen you guys.
I know, man. It always feels like this. It's always dope when it's like family and reuniting. It's just like, oh my gosh, first time. You know, never get tired of these crew. Never get tired of it. Speaking of which, we got a guest that y'all are just about familiar with at this point. We had to bring him on for this one simply because we got a really dope discussion episode for y'all. We're going to skip the segments. We're going to do this straight to the point, short form style. But first, not without bringing on our guest that you guys know. Hope you've been following and supporting. You see him already flexing on you. The genius behind the everyday genius, because he is the everyday genius, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about none other than, you already know him, Michigan repping, my brother from another, Chris C. Rob Robinson. What's happening, sir?
Man, life is but a dream, and I'm not trying to wake up. I also want to let people know I like big butts, and I can lie, but I'm not right now.
Well, why?
I don't want to say that.
That sounded like a good segue to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, y'all sit back, relax, grab yourself a snack, you know, something, you know, maybe get with some of your friends, because this is about to be a real deal discussion amongst people. So we're not one to really advertise, but we do reference because we about facts. You know, this is OTS Media and all this factually based information. So we're here to give you the facts on how factual this is from the article that factually put this together, so they say. Complex. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know about Complex. You see them on, they got their own network for crying out loud. Y'all see them, you know Complex. Not about them though, because this is OTS Media. What we're here to do is just give them reference in creating this article where they basically took a line made famous by a guy we gonna definitely talk about in this list by the name of Lil Wayne, Lil Weezy. You know, y'all know the guy that always put himself the best rapper alive, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they took it upon themselves as of January of this year. So this is very recent, people. January of this year, to create this article where they're breaking down who is the best rapper alive for the year that they come out in their each perspective. So fair disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen. Now this list goes all the way back to 1979 when hip hop was birthed and started and all that jazz. We, on the other hand, will not be breaking down any year beyond, before 1995. I'm sorry. If you are one of the older heads that listen to our podcast, we are sorry. That is before our time. So we are not eligible to actually break that down. However, we will still salute the OGs because, of course, without the OGs, we wouldn't have the foundation of great music and hip hop that we have gotten today. So, crew, are y'all ready to really get into this as much as possible?
Hey, yeah, I just want to break a rule real quick. Snoop Dogg and Wu-Tang had 93, and Biggie and Nas shared 94. All right,
good point. We'll get into that as we go, but ladies and gentlemen, as we said, so starting off, you know, we're gonna go into, you know, where, like I said, hip hop birthed in 1979. So they got Grandmaster Caz. Again, salute Grandmaster Caz. They say that was your year. If it was, it was. To our old heads out there, shout out to you. If you know, you can agree, you can disagree. We'll go there. Honorable mentions for that year: Melly Mel, King Tim III, Sha Rock. Again, before our time, guys, we don't know, but shout out to the old heads and the OGs that know. 1980, speaking of no, one and only Curtis Blow. You already know. Gotta give it to you one time. You know, 1980, that's Curtis Blow. We know who Curtis Blow is, but we don't know who Curtis Blow is because, again, that's before our time, ladies and gentlemen. Still, shout out to the OGs. Honorable mentions from that year in 1980. Spoonie G, Kumo D, Jimmy Spicer. Okay, moving on. 1981. Cool Mo D. Quite a normal name. I've heard it a few times. I don't know about y'all. I've heard it. I just don't know it. That's before our time. Moving on though. Hey, shout out to Cool Mo D, XYZ. Honorable mentions from that year, Cool Mo D, they had Love Bug, Starsky, T-Ski Valley, and Sha Rock. 1982, Melly Mel. You know, the guy that was kind of like a rapping Michael Jackson from the looks of the look, but still, I don't know. That's before our time. But still, honorable mentions of the year, 1982, you got Cool Mo D, Grandmaster Cass, and T-Ski Valley. Now, here's a familiar name for the year 1983, still before our time, but we at least know him for a lot of his longevity in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Rev Run, 1983, the year Run DMC, as they say. You know, credentials from that, it's like that, sucker MCs. Again, stuff a little bit before our time, but we know about that. Still, honorable mentions from that year, Melly Mel, Jimmy Spicer, and Ramalizi. I hope I said that name right. Anyways, moving on up. 1984. Looks like the 80s was definitely dominated because we got never other Rev Run running it again, running it back for the 2P, 1984. So Run DMC was running the 80s, literally. I mean, that sounds about right based off the 80s parties we done kind of homaged. 9 times out of 10, you see Rev Run and Run DMC looks. Adidas, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. So yeah, that all sounds about right,
it's
people.
Not an 80s party if you don't.
Exactly. You know, that sounds about right, you know. Credible, let's see, honorable mentions. Curtis Blow, Roxanne Shante, if you want to know about her, there's a Netflix special on that one. LL Cool J. Shout out to the ladies, though, because that is the birth of the ladies. We don't talk about that just yet, but you see, that Roxanne Shante started breaking it in for the ladies. So that was an honorable mention for that year. Speaking of which, 1985, dominated, apparently, all according to Complex, by Mr. LL Cool J. We know him pretty well because, well, he's still around. He's just acting these days. But hey, it sounds about right for a 17-year-old LL Cool J, if I do say. Let's see here. Honorable mentions from that year with him was Rev Run and, you know, Run DMC. Beastie Boys, Slick Rick, names that we've all heard before. Let's go into 1986, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lyrical OG that definitely is still around in a lyrical basis. KRS-One, they say, took the year of 1986. They say the honorable mentions for that year would be Too Short, Run DMC, and Schoolie D. Ladies and gentlemen, some of y'all are saying Too Short. Really? Yeah, man. Too Short been in the game that long, y'all. You'd be surprised. 1987. Goes to Rakim. Shout out to Wu-Tang. You already know, man. Honorable mentions from that year is KRS-One, LL Cool J, and Cool Mo D. 1988. We getting close to the our time range, y'all, but we ain't there yet because we still ain't thought of. But 1988, Slick Rick, the one-eyed bandit. You already know, man, the storytelling phenomenon. He's the reason why we definitely love storytelling in our music, for sure. Honorable mention from that year, Chuck D, Ice Cube, Big Daddy Kane. 1988, ladies and gentlemen, was a year. 1989, Big Daddy Kane, they say, took that year by a long shot. Honorable mention would be Chuck D, the DOC, and Cool G Rap. All right.
Real quick. I just want to say that's lightweight disrespectful only because one of my favorite albums that I actually jam to this day, Walking with a Panther by LL Cool J, dropped in 89. And that's when he had that big beef. I want to say that's when he started his, I forgot who it was against. Jack the Ripper, that diss. So like that Jingling Baby, like, the fact that LL wasn't even mentioned for 89 is like mind blowing to me right now.
Yeah.
Like Jingling still goes up. It is a bona fide classic. And they are not playing any of those cats you mentioned in clubs in 2022. But just be honest about that one. But
yeah.
Moving
Right.
on. 1990, we're getting there. Now we're coming into our territory a little bit, but we still some little youngins, if anything.
Oh, I was born.
1990, I was born too, but still, again, we still don't know no better yet. 1990, they say, goes to none other than one of our favorite people who's definitely longevity related, because you see him everywhere for everything, and he's a Mongol when it comes to business. Ice Cube, ladies and gentlemen, they say took 1990 with America's Most Wanted. Let's see, honorable mentions from that year. LL Cool J, who you might have mentioned. Maybe that's why he didn't get mentioned in 89. Maybe they transitioned that to 1990. Chuck D and Grand Puba. So yeah, 1990 was a trip. So 1991. Q-Tip, they say, took that year, ladies and gentlemen. Q-Tip. Oh boy, all right. Hey, lyrical phenomenon. Honorable mentions from that year: Scarface, Tretch. Tretch, you say. Isn't that funny? And Drez. So yeah, 1991. Moving on to 1992. One of my favorites, definitely, for sure. Redman, they say, took over the year of 1992. Credentials from that was What the Album and Headbanger. So honorable mentions of that year for 92 was Tretch, Snoop Doggy Dogg. There's a difference. Snoop Doggy Dogg, ladies and gentlemen, and Q-Tip. So speaking of which, let's go on to 93. 1993, they say, dominated by none other than Snoop Doggy Dogg. Ladies and gentlemen, young Snoopy Doggy Dogg. Credentials being The Chronic and Doggy Style. Let's see here. According to that year, the honorable mentions also can be named as Method Man, Tretch, and Q-Tip.
Whoa, no Wu-Tang?
That is weird.
Hey, man. 1994. We're getting closer to our mark. Getting closer to our mark now. 1994, ladies and gentlemen. They say that year belongs to none other than Nas. Credentials being the Illmatic. Now, that being said, the honorable mentions of that year was the Notorious B.I.G., Scarface, and Redman. Honorable mentions. Speaking of which, that brings us to the year that we now can finally start discussing some things, however deeply we would like to discuss them. 1995, they say, belonged to none other, dominated by the OG, rest in peace, the one they call the Notorious B.I.G., ladies and gentlemen, was dominated for the year 1995. He was the best rapper alive for that year. And the honorable mentions would be Raekwon, Prodigy, and of course, in case you were wondering, yes, Tupac, ladies and gentlemen. So the credential also for why they say he dominated that year was because of 1994's Ready to Die album, DJ Clue presents Bad Boy Volume 1, Junior Mafia's Conspiracy, One More Chance Remix, Who Shot Ya, and Total's Can't You See. So that's why they say B.I.G. dominated the year of 1995.
I didn't realize all that came out in the same year.
Right. I can't argue that after you put
So much they didn't. Could you say the honorable mentions again? Because I swear they left off a name.
Honorable mentions: Raekwon, Prodigy, and Tupac. So briefly, if I can mention, let's see. Tupac released what many consider his best album. While he's in this honorable mention, Me Against the World came out that year. But Pac also spent most of that year in prison, so that's kind of why he was honorable mention more so than dominated the year. As far as, let's see, Prodigy is concerned, he embodies hip hop's future. The supremacy of Raekwon and Prodigy's rapping during that year cannot be overlooked. East Coast thuggery had been refined, polished, and perfected, and only built for Cuban links. And the Mobb Deep's Infamous represented the genre's creative climax. No reaches for radio play. The two albums were unflinching, dark, and cinematic. Let's see. And then who was the other rapper? Raekwon and Prodigy. Yeah. So this is basically mostly about yeah. That's about summing up 1995. Any objections, thoughts, concerns in that year?
It's tough because it is Pac, but like, yo, like literally, you had classics from all the coasts come out, like bona fide classics. If you talking about the infamous, if you talk about only built for Cuban links, and that's East Coast, and you got Me Against the World, and of course 40 dropped. But shout out to my native region, right? The Midwest, because the E 1999 Eternal dropped that year from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, that's right.
So like, you putting that in perspective that's whew.
Are these lists based off of sales too?
You know what it does not mention. Let me see if I can go back here. Let me see if it actually talks about what. Let's see. The best rapper alive debate is different from the GOAT conversation, being that the best rapper. Sorry, stupid ads, y'all. Get out the way. Move. Okay. Anyways, let me go back to that statement. Let's see. Where was that before those ads popped up? Yeah, the best rapper alive debate is different from the GOAT conversation, being that the best rapper alive doesn't mean you're the biggest or the most successful. It just means you're the best at one particular moment. Of course, in hip hop, being the best is about being big. And being at your best doesn't make you the best. So if your prime concedes with someone else's, well, hey, there's always next year. You can look back at the hip hop terrain with 2020 hindsight, tally up the votes, and declare the GOATs. But the best rapper alive from year to year is a feeling in the moment. There have been debates among rap fans living in that moment since the early days of hip hop, but those discussions have never been properly cataloged until now. Yeah, we're excited. Sue us. Complex is proud to present the best rapper alive every year since 1979, a comprehensive look back at every rap year and which MC moved the crowd the most. So that's basically what this is about. Who moved the crowd the most? Which might explain 2018, as we mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't know, because sales have to be included in that. Then, like, record sales have to be included in that.
Yes
right?
and no.
Because what's another measurement of moving the crowd, of being the biggest or the best of that year? What's the other measurement?
I don't think they really got one.
Necessarily equate impact though.
Yeah, I think it's like criteria. Like when they get to 2003 on who that is, it makes sense. Record sales were kind of a part of that, but I think it's more so just the buzz in general of what led to that rapper dominating that year.
Okay.
I mean,
this is gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If man, I'm just saying, like, we know who Uncle Charles is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna miss everybody. Like, we still doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just gotta say, man,
could have been an honorable
Crossroads in first of the month. Like,
yeah.
You talking about move the crowd?
That was very big.
They still big. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like they probably were one of the, I ain't gonna say one of the first, but for the modern era, especially you talking about a generation that don't even try to listen to this music,
Right.
they were so lexicon everybody efficacious that their songs, the titles, I like that face you made, right? But like
Oh,
the
nice.
songs, the titles and the words, like they legit permeate everyday culture. So
Right,
at this
right.
point, folks are just going to be like, it's the first of the month, like it's a thing. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we know about like amps, we know about the assistants, we know about the checks, but
Mhm.
like there's something outside of universal culture tied to that, and that's the rap culture.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them sirens. I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is like perfect timing. I
Hilarious.
It's
appreciate
all
that.
good. Yeah.
You know, but you know, and then like between that and Crossroads, though, like, I mean, come on, bro.
So who would you take out of the honorable mention then?
Let me pull up the what does it say for?
Raekwon, Prodigy, and Tupac.
Mhm.
I will pull Prodigy out in fairness, only because Mobb Deep dropped the Infamous, and I think it's somewhat. I ain't gonna say like it's disrespectful to Havoc, but I think when as a group you drop something that deep, like you don't want to overshadow Havoc, you
Mm,
know, and all the production work he put into,
Mhm.
you know, by just saying Prodigy.
right,
Because you
right.
know, I kind of feel the same way when people do that. We in what 96,
We're about to hit
1995.
95,
96. This is 95.
95.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Like I feel that way when people tend to do Outcast a lot like that when they
They do.
constantly talk about Andre 3000, and I'm like, do not let the fact that y'all loved Hey Ya overshadow how crazy Big Boy has been flowing for decades.
Yeah, yeah,
Y'all got to stop that.
yeah.
Mhm.
No, I agree with that.
Great. So, any other thoughts before we move on to the next year and continues? Everybody good? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, let's transition on over into 1996, which Complex says that year belonged to none other than Tupac. So the credentials of that year is All Eyes on Me, the Don Illuminati, the 7 Day Theory, drops Epic Diss Track, which was Hit 'Em Up. And oh yeah, his tireless work ethic and prolific output made him a legend. 1996, we saw both of those habits at their highest efficiency for most previous year. He was incarcerated after being found guilty on 3 accounts of molestation. Tupac released the Clinton Correctional Facility in October of 1995. Everybody that remembers a lot of that. I won't go through in the whole article, but basically, you know, as far as All Eyes on Me in that year, it debuted an icon larger than rap. It was evident the album's reception. It debuted at #1 on the pop charts, moved 566,000 units in its opening week, achieving 5 times platinum certification by April. Tupac's appeal that year gets much deeper than sales statistic. Let's see. His top 40 presence reached its pinnacle. So did his rapping. Consider the urgent tenacity, which embellishes All Eyes on Me's opening lines. You know,
So they are including album sales.
to a degree, it seems like they are including that as you read certain descriptions. Like I said, it's a long breakdown. I don't want to, because we're going
Yeah,
year by year. But
yeah.
as I read some of why, it does seem that, yes, album sales do kind of play a part in this, but it's not the full thing. And they're making this different from a GOAT discussion. So it's more like who was the best rapper of that year? Oh, and as far as the honorable mentions for that year, silly me, Notorious B.I.G., Nas, and Jay-Z. Interesting. Jay-Z in the same conversation with Nas and Notorious B.I.G. for that year.
This is so disrespectful. Because I know the 2.5 of y'all will feel this. First and foremost, ATLiens dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I guess I'm the half, huh?
no, Dwayne,
Oh,
because he's not a native.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay.
But I didn't know about Outkast, much
Okay.
like everybody else. So I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I meant with that. But like
No, because
96
I'm from
was
Newark too,
nuts.
so that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. So I guess the
1.5 points.
Yeah.
the 1 and 2 halves,
Yeah.
you know. I can't say 2 because people get confused.
Yeah.
So
No, but like, all right, but we we honest about
Yeah.
Jay definitely deserves to be on there for sure, because Reasonable Doubt is probably one of the dopest rap albums ever.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he definitely came on hard with joints like Brooklyn's Finest, 22 Twos, Ain't No Nigga, especially when like Foxy was like peaking too. But I had to write down a list of things that dropped in 96. UGK came out with Riding Dirty.
Oh my God.
Right. Nas dropped It Was Written. Outkast dropped AT Aliens. Master P dropped Ice Cream Man. Like Ghostface dropped Iron Man. Lil Kim dropped Hardcore. And let us never forget, the Fugees dropped The Score.
Fugees, yes.
Now,
Whew.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. And they're gonna make this very known as the years progress. A lot of those Southern albums you mentioned, the reason why they are not mentioned in this is because this is the era of which New York still dominated hip hop in the mainstream
radio,
media.
and mainstream,
and
that.
So to that world, this was still the era of the New York only rappers. Even though you knew about the Outkast, the Master P's, you knew about Pac. Basically, was repping West Coast, so obviously you knew who Pac was. But it was like, as far as anybody from Midwest and down South, only the territories kind of knew about them. But on a mainstream aspect, did you know about them the same way you knew about these rappers that you're hearing from NYC?
Okay, so we're factoring all of that into this.
All of that. Because as we get into the 2000s.
So record sales mean something then?
They're not consistent.
They're
that's
not
fair.
Yeah.
Because I could talk, like, for me, I pictured like a lot of these folks is, if you mainstream, you mainstream. Now, some people might be more known than others, right? Like take an NBA roster, right? Something simple, 15 people. You may not really know the 15 man on the roster sitting at the bottom of the bench.
Yeah.
But all things considered, he's in the NBA.
Right. And if you're a fan of that team, you're
gonna know that person.
You're gonna know.
So I can't sit here and say like, oh, well, the Warriors and the Mavs are the most popular teams. So even if you're a better player for such and such a squad, like we're gonna say they're better because their team's more popular. Like nobody's gonna say that in basketball. They're gonna be like, either you can hoop or you can't. Because another rapper who I find, honestly, in my opinion, might be like the dopest femc to ever like pop out, Bahamadia. And she doesn't get talked about enough. Bahamadia is nuts with the lyrics. I mean, the flow is crazy. She got bars, and she probably is the only person that I might like a little more than Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Derrick.
No, I mean, Chris was right. This is highly inconsistent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because one thing about it, even if you take territories out, and I'm sure Janean would agree with me here on this. Outside of when they mentioned Roxanne Shantae here, I'm not hearing females getting mentioned in this. Now, Chris, you brought up Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown, who, to my knowledge of what I remember growing up, dominated the 90s, it seemed, as a female rapper. And I don't recall seeing, Lil Kim. I didn't see her. And I don't recall seeing Eve anywhere on this list from any of these decades either. But when we get to like, but when we get to like the 2010s era, I do hear about a certain other female rapper, for example. So
here we go. See,
that's why I'm like, where's the we'll get to that. We'll get to that as we go. Not to, so real quick, 96, Anything? Well, hold on. Let me just mention why these three, as far as honorable mentions, why they mentioned Big, Nas, and Jay-Z. So real quick, Biggie, they said, while after what was at that point the best year of his career, aka 95, Biggie remained a formidable competitor in 96. He didn't have much to offer in the way of new solo material, though. His flawless streak of guest appearances was awe-inspiring. So they mentioned him that year because he was doing crazy features on crazy songs that year. So
he was on Shaq's project too.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of features. So as far as Jay-Z, new to this conversation, he was a rookie in this year. Biggie had also given a feature to his fellow Brooklyn MC's classic debut, Reasonable Doubt, as Chris mentioned. It took some time for appreciation of the album to set in, but looking back, it's clearly a remarkable project, as Chris mentioned. Nas, who released his sophomore album, It Was Written, the same year, it can be said about that. While the album was more commercially successful than Illmatic, it was met with a tepid response from hip-hop fans looking for a rehash of Nas's debut. They used the government name when they said Nasir. So, but it was only a total disappointment to the hypocritical Jay-Z rapped, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. On to 1997, ladies and gentlemen. Guess who took it? I think y'all know. Notorious B.I.G. took the year of 1997, they say. Credentials for this is Life After Death, back-to-back #1 hits with Hypnotize, More Money, More Problems, guest spots on Been Around the World, It's All About the Benjamins, and Victory. Christopher Wallace was only alive for 67 days in 1997, but with a talent so immense, that's all it took for him to be the most dominant rapper of the year, they said. In the months after Biggie's March 9th death, it's almost as if his stock rose. So they're going off the fact that basically, even though he ended up dying within that year, because he dominated apparently from the memory of what he did before dying, why they don't mention Pac somewhere in this, then that's interesting, because Pac died before Biggie.
Yeah, but it's record sales too.
This is such an ugly list.
Life After Death released just 2 weeks after Biggie passed, and it peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200. Album was an ambitious 2-disc set with a track list comprised of every type of song imaginable. While the diverse styles and subject matter, his daughter's college plan, kinky sex host up. Okay, well, yeah, that was interesting. But
kinky
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It said his daughter's college plan, kinky sex, hotel heist, and a fully sung ballad were an organic product of Biggie's incomparable range. The strategy of Life After Death sequencing has become the de facto approach for rap albums in the years since.
Bruh.
It's incredibly an influential project, they say, even when you press play. Speaking of which, there's his song with speaking of your guys, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah, he also had his infamous verse on that, and that's also a part of within the same year. So looks like Bone Thugs gets mentioned because of the fact they had Biggie on the track that year.
See, that's so disrespectful, man.
So honorable mentions. Can we talk about the honorable mentions of that year of 1997?
I'm scared.
Jay-Z, Twista, Busta Rhymes.
I gotta fight somebody.
So let's explain why. Let's go into the first one, which was Biggie, right? Or no, hold on, I'm sorry. While there's no question that even in death, Biggie owned 97, his passing did open the door for other hip-hop acts to emerge. Busta had been patiently waiting to make it since his scenario verse 5 years prior on the success of Woo-Ah, Got You All in Check in 96, set him up nicely for the career explosion that occurred in 97. His style remained avant-garde and he increased sense of speed and control. Peep how he holds the same rhyme through every verse on Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Earned him points on the technical end. Twista was another MC with a knack for lightning fast flows, and the fact that the Adrenaline Rush rapper hailed from a city other than NYC made his leap to national consciousness even more notable. I can see the look on Derrick and Chris's face. Oh, Janean, this is beautiful. Hold on. Jay-Z, his Daz EFX-like double time days were behind him by 1997. But with his friend and collaborator Biggie gone, Hov's talents became more noticeable. Not many people would take 97 in My Lifetime Volume 1 over the previous year's Reasonable Doubt, but most will acknowledge that tracks like Where I'm From, A Million and One Questions are home. So, yeah, that's 97 in a nutshell.
Was DMX not out in 97?
He actually was. We're getting to that one. Don't worry. We're getting to that one.
Oh, they missed so many legends.
Yeah, well, we getting there, y'all. We getting there.
Where's Lil Kim? I'm still not
trying to figure that out too. Where's Lil Kim? Where's Foxy? I'm just saying.
Missy dropped Super Duper Fly.
Missy, oh my God, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Super Duper Fly is out. Capone and Noriega dropped the War Report.
So yeah, so we're only talking about they're changing their criteria year by year,
bro. Because in My Lifetime, like imaginary players.
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
I was up in a joint like about a month ago, bro. The DJ cut imaginary players on. You talking about this a Sunday at like midnight, 1 a.m. The whole spot is going up. You're doom, 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 doom. Like we all rocking to imaginary players.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to put somebody in.
Let's continue. Let's not go there, y'all. If y'all thought 97 was something, this is where things get a little debatable here, but you know.
Can I just do one more thing real quick? I just want to pay respects to, because I'm looking up 97 albums, and I'm only looking this up after Dwayne reads his stuff so I can try to be unbiased. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Wu-Tang for dropping Wu-Tang Forever.
Yo.
Capone and Noriega for the War Report. Shout out to Super Duper Fly and Missy. Shout out to Uptown Saturday Night by Camp Low, because you know we got Lucchini.
Yeah.
Also want to give a big old shout out to Master P for dropping Ghetto D, because that gave us Make 'Em Say Like, oh, and to the OG legend Sugar Free for dropping Street Gospel. Definitely put the Bay big time up with that one. Just like you talking about like pimp style rap, like, all right. Oh, and then one of my favorites, actually still bump this one in the gym. Unpredictable, my Mystical, and the one guy who definitely should have been mentioned and wasn't. Harlem World by Mace dropped.
Yeah, so
Mace, yet another one.
Yeah. Okay. So they're basing this on regions then, right? That's the only thing that
it's more so you can tell that this is because at that time, even though there were so many rappers, New York rappers were dominating not just mainstream, but mostly even the underground scene, because of New York being, as they say, the mecca of hip hop. So as you can see, it's going to change.
I don't know
as we progress each year. I'm trying to understand that as well, because if you're going off region, I don't know.
Hey, yo, Complex, what the hell, man?
Because Biggie has the name, and I mean, with all due disrespect, excuse me, I don't really mean that though. I think a lot of these folks are folks who like feel like they know what they talking about, but they don't really know, but they got a voice, kind of like niggas who be like, oh, I'm a chef and I decided to put we ain't asking for your twist on the food, player. Either it is or it ain't. And I think that's what this is, because when you talking about literally the lock that all of Bad Boy had on the game.
Yeah.
And we talking about like Biggie's gone. Like, and it's no disrespect, but you can't say a dude was the best rapper for a whole year and 300 days of it he was not available. Like that's I ain't mean it like that, bro. But I'm just saying,
no,
like,
real talk.
Like, but that's real.
But that's real. No, that's real. And the thing that gets it.
Yeah.
But I can also, but again, impactually because of his death, I can understand it goes back to when we get to 2003.
The Rough Riders aren't even being mentioned.
Well, no, this is true. Well, we're gonna get to that one in a sec. But the thing is, there's some things that can be taken into account here that my gripe with this so far is when they give this to rappers multiple times each year. Like 1 year it's Pac, 1 year it's Biggie, another year, well, Pac only actually, according to them, got it for 1 year.
When he was Biggie also outside of just music, he was also an actor.
Right. hey, enough said. Enough said.
Because, man, do Mace got the ladies?
Wait.
Do Puff drive Mercedes? Take hits from the 80s. Dude, that sounds so crazy.
Hold on. I need to see something.
Hey.
While Derrick is seeing that, we're going to go ahead and transition over to the next year while he's getting that thought put over. Let's go into the year.
Hold on. Where the hell is Heavy D?
Ooh.
Forgot about that one.
As Neem pulls out the champagne on that one. Hey, we're questions we all don't have enough answers to.
Yo, these people tripping, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
These the folks that like put raisins in the macaroni.
Who put sugar on grits?
Slow your roll, man. Slow your roll. I do that. All right.
I'm disqualified. I don't even like grits.
I know what I'm talking about.
I'm disqualified.
I don't like grits either, but if I'm gonna eat them, they gotta have sugar on them.
No. And butter and cheese, but we don't have to talk about it.
Salt, butter, and cheese is fine.
Took me too fast with the cheese. But I understand it probably tastes like a Danish without the bread. You know what I mean?
It's savory. How are you gonna mix sweet and savory like that?
Because it goes together.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Always go together.
All right.
I normally don't like sweet and savory, but when the gravy from the dressing touched the yams today, my nigga.
Okay, that's different. That's different. That's different.
Hey.
That's different.
Like deep down inside was like a yes. Like, you know, the first time like T'Challa went to the ancestral plane and he was looking like, yo, like that's how I felt deep down inside. Like, this where all the other Panthers have been? Like, y'all been hiding this from me? But all right, keep going. Because Dwayne looking like, all right, bro.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm just trying, we got a long list here. I'm just making sure we stay on track. But you're good. Good. I get the side. Derrick, go ahead, because you had a side thing you were going to bring up here.
Oh, no. I'm still trying to figure out why Heavy D has not been mentioned at all.
What they talking about? Hey, I'm gonna end up hitting the gym after this. I'm gonna be pissed off.
Well, speaking of pissed off, let's go ahead and transition into the year of 1998.
Oh, they gonna do something stupid.
1998, yo. Now at this point, we all safely can say we understand. We remember 1998 pretty clearly enough to remember who was on top, who was killing it, who was all these things. So let's get into it. 1998. Who do y'all think the year went to? I'm just gonna let y'all
be
guess
DMX.
this.
It better be DMX because he dropped 2 albums.
Ladies and gentlemen, the year goes to none other than Jay-Z. I'm playing, y'all. It's DMX. It's DMX. DMX. They said
Chris was about to log out.
Yes. They said DMX. They said DMX.
It was so much going on. I forgot to breathe. It was like, yo.
The year went to DMX.
Chris heard the
Credentials.
DMX bark in the back of his head.
Nigga. The what? Yeah, the what? What? But no, credentials for DMX in that year, as Chris mentioned. It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, guest spots on Money, Cash, Hoes, and of course, Money, Power, Respect. As history tells it, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana saved rock from the death grips of heavy metal in the early 90s. After the glitz and glamour of hip hop, shiny suit era, which this is the only way they mentioned Diddy and the crew apparently, the emergence of Yonkers badass, DMX, was celebrated in the same way. So basically, they're comparing DMX and his style, grungy, not doing what P. Diddy was doing to, lighten hip hop. DMX saying, I'm going the dark and gritty way. Well, he's comparing that to how Kurt Cobain and Nirvana did rock that way from the death heavy metal days. So yeah, that makes about some sense there. Debut single, Get At Me Dog, had no overwrought 80s pop sample. Its accompanying visual was a gritty black and white account of a night at legendary hip hop nightclub, The Tunnel, rather than, the ostentatious display of wealth. He didn't go the wealthy route that most rappers were doing. Diddy era shiny suit and all that jazz, So, it sounds about right. So let's go into the honorable mentions of 1998 here.
I'm here for this. I better hear 3 particular names.
There was a name I was hoping to hear, and I sure as heck didn't hear it, but 1998's honorable mentions. Now, Chris might get excited by this a little bit. Maybe not. We're just going to name this name, and we're going to say Jay-Z. Big Pun.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no capital punishment. Okay.
And, Janine will love this, Lauryn Hill.
Yo! Aquemini!
Well, in fairness, I can understand Lauryn Hill's. That is the one album that she came out with is still to this day holding its weight. Yeah. And the ladies haven't been mentioned. Up to this point, you haven't heard a lady's name in honorable mention or year since Roxanne Shante of the 80s.
Which makes sense.
So Lauryn Hill, I'm not too mad at that.
No, there's no disrespect. Actually, I'm not mad at that at all. The only reason I would give it to DMX is because he has such an aggressive, gritty, raw style. Like, we knew a lot of people was legit. Like, the stories have checked out that Nas was actually a shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nas legit was the on-call shooter for folks. If he rapped about it, we knew it. Like CNN, they was legit in the streets. But you talking about a dude who legit will rob people with dogs, hops up in the studio and makes an album.
Yeah.
It's how raw we get now. It's not the same glamorous, I'll ride it with my people. I can make this up. It's bro, I will rob you in the studio with a pack of Rottweilers. What you gonna do about it? And he's literally battling duality between I hate God, I need God, I'm in the streets, I want a regular life, I'm a thug, I love my family. He laid it all out. And the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, I think, is such a significantly, sonically, lyrically, all the adverbs. It's that in the album. I think it's, quite frankly, of any genre, one of the greatest albums ever made. It's just hard when we're talking about rap to not give DMX his just dues, because I think 98 is what cemented DMX like none other in the game. If he left off of those 2 albums alone, he could have did a career just features after that. I mean, ain't like Nicki Minaj ain't doing that now.
Well, That being said, no, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna make these explanations that they give behind why these three names are chosen for that particular year as honorable mentions.
I got a light headache. They try to give me a conniption, bro.
All right, so in Jay-Z's case, DMX record-setting run places him at the front of the pack, but 1998 saw several other hip-hop artists soar to equally dizzying heights as well. It was the year that Jay-Z became a pop star, they say. So mainstream at this point was mainstream Jay-Z, selling 5 million copies. There's that album sale thing again there, Derrick. Selling 5 million copies of Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, on the back of his massive Annie sampling titled track single. It was the year that Lauryn Hill stepped out as a solo force, selling 8 million copies of The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the album that earned her a historical 5 Grammys in early 99. It was the year that Big Pun finally saw potential of his buzz fulfilled and dropped his critically acclaimed platinum debut, Capital Punishment. The accolades and mind-numbing sales figures of each artist were well-deserved, with Jay, Lauryn, and Pun all serving as model examples of the benefits as an artist can reap as a result of settling in an uncompromising creative zone.
They are so biased.
They are.
No Goody Mob, no Outkast.
That's what I was about to say.
And then shout out to one of the, I don't care, you can argue me, I will give you my address, run up on me, hands only, I don't do the guns. One of the 5 greatest hip-hop songs ever made in life. This is the only thing that is allowed, like, for age ranges like 16 to 85. Juvenile dropped 400 Degrees. Do y'all know what was on that album? Because Cash Money was taking over for the 99 and the 2000s in 98.
Yeah.
This song has made cheeks shake so much that we caused an earthquake in California last month. I don't know if that's actually why it happened, but still.
This is true. Oh. Speaking of Juvenile, I'm surprised he hasn't had a versus yet. Maybe that's a thought.
Hey.
Just saying.
I'm here for it.
Quick plug. That being said,
you look good once you back there. Oh, I'm sorry.
That being said, I know. That being said, so Derrick, Janean, 1998. Is there anybody y'all can think of that y'all remember in that time that didn't get mentioned here?
Well, Goody Mob, like Chris said.
I think Chris covered it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Legit. Well, I guess it's on to the 99 and the 2000s, as we say.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, real quick. I just looked this up. I didn't realize Redman dropped Docs the Name. Docs the Name 2000.
That was 98?
Yeah. I didn't realize that. And that's for people who don't really know about Redman, if you've ever seen like the most noticeable like image of Redman, like that logo of like the beanie wearing, like that's that. That's the one that had I'll Be That, and that was my jam on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, girl say he ain't probably why, because I ain't I'll be that, man. Okay. Whatever.
Notice the South is not getting many, if any, by this point. So
this is weird.
They don't know what they talking about.
This is weird.
They about to say Vanessa Carlson for 99 or something. I don't know. I give up. Bro, I got a headache.
I wouldn't be surprised if we heard about NSYNC, man.
No, this is strictly hip hop, unfortunately. But, hey, let's get into 1999 then, shall we?
Yeah.
I want y'all to just take a wild guess at who you think dominated 1999 according to these guys.
99. Actually, Eminem should be 99. Because I want to say that's when the EP dropped.
Wait, why are we not hearing about Dr. Dre?
Interesting thought, huh?
Chronic.
I mean, Snoop Dogg, that wasn't even his album. Chronic was Dre's album, but nobody talks about that. Probably because in hip hop's world, at least to these guys, Dre's more known as a producer than a rapper. That's the only explanation I would have, I guess. I can tell by the looks on these faces. This is just amazing at how this just.
Well, I mean,
hey man,
I don't want to take any shots at Complex, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Are y'all ready for the actual review of who dominated 19? Well, I guess Chris is kind of pitching the fit. I don't know if we can.
He can still hear you.
He's still here? Well, Chris, the artist that Complex had ruled and dubbed as your dominator of the year of 1999 goes to none other than a man who's been honorably mentioned I don't know how many times and also has dominated a couple other years. It goes to none other than Ciroc in the building. Jay-Z, they say, dominated the year of 1999. Here's the credentials of that one. Volume 2's Hard Knock Life. Volume 3's The Life and Times of Sean Carter. Guest spots on Heartbreaker and Lobster and Shrimp.
So
after the banner year, that was 1998. Jay-Z entered 1999 with confidence. They say this is the year he started to get his confidence. The I'm Hov. I'm Jay-Z. Like, he ain't a rookie no more. Like, he ain't reasonable doubt Jay-Z.
He ain't been in the game like 14 years at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking about what they said about Busta Rhymes like a couple years ago, which pissed me off because Busta Rhymes been rapping since '89.
Mm-hmm.
With like leaders of the new school, and they talking about he found his style. Like he been bro.
Like
Slim Shady LP dropped in '99.
Yeah. So did
Oh my god, Chronic 2000. Yo, I need to sit down.
But who y'all think? Y'all mentioned some names. So who y'all think was honorable mentions out of this? Because they're only naming
Eminem better be on that list.
If Eminem is not on Eminem, it should be Eminem and Nas. Eminem, Nas.
I can think of a guy, but he's not.
Man,
he's on this list for one reason, and he's not even on the list. He's just mentioned.
Wait, is Dre not on there?
No. What? Are y'all ready for these honorable mentions of 1999? Let me tell you, boy, Janean's enjoying the pure comedy of these reactions. That would be none other than DMX, Nas.
I had to get ready because they on my nerves.
The honorable mentions of 1999: DMX, Nas, and Eminem.
Bruh.
How is Dre not mentioned, man?
I'll tell you. I have no clue either. Because I'm trying to figure out how someone wasn't mentioned in this either. Since they seem to be talking about hits and whatnot, I'll get into that though a little later. I'm gonna wait till 2003 to kind of get into this one. So I'm just gonna let this keep playing out right now. So as explaining these guys, Well, you know why Eminem's in this list. He made his debut, simultaneously scaring and charming America with his immensely skilled shock raps. Nas dropped 2 albums in 1 year. That's why they got him in this honorable mention. Both were met with mixed reviews, but in retrospect, we're still plenty heavy on the deaf lyricism on which he based his reputation. I don't know if that's enough reason to give Nas honorable mention.
Bro,
If
that
you didn't
was
think
a
the
whole
albums-
lot of nothing.
I didn't even get that.
And DMX was still on a tear through the industry and captivated mainstream audiences and hip hop heads with his 5 times platinum albums, like, and then there was X that year. So, y'all
deep
make me
about
lose my mind.
I mean, black on both sides.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. I don't know how Most Def wasn't discussed.
But seriously though, like I still unapologetically bump Explosive from Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Well, see, that's
Ironically, that was playing in my car on the way here, so I get it. I get it.
And I know you weren't playing in my Lifetime Volume 3.
I've never bumped a Jay-Z album in my life, to be completely honest, so I get it.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I've never been.
We need
he's
to-
got songs here, and I've never just sit.
So
There's
you've
only
been
one
more-
album.
You've been more of like a track guy, not an album guy for Hope.
Even
He's a
that.
pure
And
Southern
that-
guy.
No, I'm a all coast. I love my North. DMX. I have a lot of Northern rappers that I love.
Wait,
I
so
just never. For one, when you know too many New Yorkers that all they talk about is Jay-Z, 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 Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that, Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that. It's like, man, look, I can't, dog. I can't.
I mean, I'll
Wait,
put it like
can't.
this.
Kingdom Come
Jay-
might have been the only album I listened to and that was because somebody bought it for me as a present, I think.
Wow. Hey, wow. Okay. Jay-Z is probably my biggest rap influence. Also, random, shameless, kind of sort of plug, not plug, heads up notice. I'm a get something going because me and Dwayne were supposed to do something for some time now. Because for those who don't know, Dwayne, the highlight reel, is supremely dope and talented. I have mentioned on the early episode I do rap. And I definitely want to do a track with him, which I've been welcome to. So we're gonna make that happen. But I preface that so people won't be confused. Jay-Z is actually like one of my biggest rap influences because how he story tells is on another level. And I think Jay-Z's the dude that hides in plain sight.
Mhm.
And so, I remember like having this argument with folks in college a lot too. Now, like, yo, who's one of the best drug rappers you know? Like, who's the best drug rapper ever? Like, nobody ever said Jay-Z. I'm like, Jay-Z's the best drug rapper. They're like, Jay-Z don't rap about drugs. And I'm like, you don't listen to his lyrics. Like, he literally is storytelling about his life, moving weight, like years on end. And it's one of those that like only a handful of people have honestly ever questioned it. And he did it so smoothly that you didn't even realize all the stuff he was talking about because his mastery of entendres. And so that's why it's like kind of nuts when like people don't like him, but they like lyrics. And this is not a knock at you. It's like I've also noticed that most of my friends and counterparts from the South do not like Jay-Z. They would big up 3 Stacks because they don't listen to Outkast. They will big up Scarface because they don't really know what they're talking about. And they will completely overshadow Jay-Z. They will shout out Biggie, but not Jay-Z. And it'd be mind-blowing to me. Like, Jay is so clean with it. He, in my opinion, Jay is like the MJ of rap. He's so cold that you want everybody to pass him. And now this dude is 51, still on tracks, wrecking it. Like, you don't even think about the fact that Jay-Z's 51.
Yeah.
He's just Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like, people don't look at MJ like MJ's 56. They're like, that's Jordan. He can still get buckets if he wants to. Like, he's on that level. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, but also we've never been in this space with hip hop before, where those guys have aged up to that point. You know, like hip hop is still regular. Hip hop is still a relatively newer genre, right?
That's real.
So we are still, like, I think, getting used to the idea of our artists getting that age and still being able to do what they do, which doesn't make sense because I mean it shouldn't matter the genre. It should just matter that you're, you know, in music and you're still a relevant artist. You still have, like, Dolly Parton is still relevant in country, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't matter that they're you know, that old, but this is we're brand new to this. So like him and Nas, you know, Jay-Z and Nas are both able to still go out there and do what they do, and we're still kind of like processing it because we're always thinking that hip hop is a young man's game, which it has always been because it's still a young genre. We're just aging up now where it's just like, okay, no, it actually is, you know, it still can be an old man's game.
You know, I think hip hop right now is at its most powerful due to our generation.
Yeah.
Like, I was born at the tail end of '89. For all intents and purposes, I'm a '90s baby. And, you know, societally speaking, we were like the most tweener generation ever. I had this argument with somebody. I was like, our generation had to go through the most adaptations of any generation. Like, yes, you know, you were born in the '30s, you got introduced to plastic and was like, what's this? Like, I get it. That is like, that's different. You know what I'm saying? You were born in the '50s and you was like, nigga, colored people. Wow. Like, I'm sure that, you know, like, it shook you, but like,
Fair enough.
Chill, man. If I finish this cup, it's gonna get worse. But like, when you really think about the stuff that we went through, like, in terms of technology, man, like, the reason I can remember that Slim Shady LP like dropped the 99 on top of my head, I just so happened to be like in Detroit. I was visiting my pops in Detroit at the time. I heard that album for the first time on cassette because I had a Walkman.
Jesus.
You feel me? I literally had a two-sided tape, and that's what I use. Like, we say tape because it's just like a word that we still keep around. We ain't really got tape no more. Like, I actually had the tape of the Slim Shady like LP.
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? And then by the time like 01 hit, maybe even 2000 to be honest, man, I'm listening to like no 99. I'm listening to Slim Shady LP on cassette. 2000, man, I'm listening to Country Grammar on a CD player. By like 2003, man, 2004, I got an MP3 CD player. You know, and by 05, 06, man, I got a brick. Oh, you can't see that, dude. I got a brick. You know what I'm saying? MP3 player full of songs. Yeah. And it's like we went through how information was stored. Like, Google hit the biggest boom of his life, you know, being born in 96. YouTube dropped in 06. Like, I was in high school when YouTube dropped. Not elementary or middle, high school. We're driving.
Yeah.
We got driver's licenses when YouTube comes out. Like,
wild to think about.
I be getting like reminders from Facebook, like, hey, this is what you posted on Facebook 15 years ago. And I'm like, hold up, how many years ago?
Will humble you.
Yes. So it's like when you put all that change into perspective, like how things are like transmitted, how it really went from like hard copies to like everything is a cloud, everything is digital. Laptops don't come with CD players. you're not buying like adapters for like vehicles anymore, then it's kind of like nuts to not realize like we're the people that's controlling all this because we have to do the adaptations. We remember what happened. We actually developed what is, and we are driving what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes like 100% sense that people like Jay-Z or Kanye or Pusha T like are still thriving because they have enough knowledge of what was, developed it to a stable point, and they've been riding that stability wave. They ain't been getting too creative and loose and all out there, with the music to the point where like hip hop actually gets lost. Yeah, some of them might ride a wave for a check, but like let's be honest, like Ye still knows hip hop. He can still make these beats and grab these samples. Like there's a reason why people can talk all they want to about Playboy Cardi. You barely hear his name. There's a reason why those folks like be in and out. And as old as these other dudes might be, they still getting checks.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of still getting checks, that takes you right into the perfect check of the fact that now we are entering the Y2K era, ladies and gentlemen.
The B2K.
Good old 2000.
Oh, my bad.
Straight up 2000. 2K.
Oh,
Literally 2K.
Right.
I'm curious to know who y'all think they said took the year of 2000.
If they were
Janean,
smart,
I can't say because I know, and I know that we're guessing.
Oh yeah. You and me both. Okay, so me and you in the same seat, cuz it's like we know, but we just gonna sit there and see if they get it. I am interested to see if you agree with this though, cuz I am, because I need more woman's take on that in a woman's like listener's perspective. Because by this point, you and me both, especially because the artist of this era, I put you onto this artist,
exactly.
So this will be interesting to see.
I gotta look up when this dropped. If I'm correct, to be quite fair, I know he didn't make this list. I just know they didn't give him the credit he deserves. But the biggest rap artist of 2000 should have been Will Smith.
Oh.
Legendary's reaction.
I'm saying like it seems laughable, but you really got to think about how much he took the world by storm with Willennium. Like he had like just the two of us, like that set up the stage for like getting jiggy with it. And regardless of what you want to say,
wait, that was 2000.
Yeah, those were all those were Millennium albums. I remember those. They were Millennium-esque.
Let me double check.
I don't even know why I'm thinking that's in the 90s.
Well, in the meantime, while he's looking those up, ladies and gentlemen, the rap artist that they gave the year 2002 was none other than the man they call Slim Shady. Eminem took the year 2000.
Yay.
The credentials of that goes to the Marshall Mathers. The Marshall Mathers ELP, guest spots on Forgot About Dre, Don't Approach Me, 3 classic singles with Real Slim Shady, The Way I Am, and of course, Stan. And because he was also the most controversial rapper coming in, just
I don't
such as Will Smith. Will Smith ain't got to rap about Grammys to get a Grammy. Well, I do. So, you too, point blank.
So since you felt like Eminem should have got 1999, but you don't feel like he should have got 2000.
He shouldn't have. 2000 should have went to Nelly. Nelly ushered in a new style of rap that's still going on today. I don't think anybody ever like did the singing rap as good as Nelly did.
That's true.
Because artists to this point are actually not even high. Like, you got to think about what happened in like that 99 to like 01 range. If you wanted a hook sang, you didn't do it yourself. You got a feature artist.
Right.
And Nelly came in singing his stuff. It wasn't about autotune. It was just like I remember listening to Country Grammar from the beginning to the end, even the end. Hey, yo, ma, how you doing? It's your son now. Said I picked up the mic and put the drugs down. Like, we going down. Like, he was singing it, but he was rapping it. And then you got to think about it. Years later, that set up 50 Cent. That set up Ja Rule. Like that set up all these other cats who had.
Actually, no. That did not set up Ja Rule because he was actually out before Nelly.
I mean, he was.
But
out
we'll get
before
to that.
Nelly.
We'll get
Like,
to that.
yeah, I mean, I
We'll
know
actually
like
get to
Rule
that.
being out, but like
He was actually. We'll get to that one. Hold that thought right there. but no, honorable mentions that year. You know what's very interesting is the honorable mentions of the year 2000. Neen, while we still have you here, because we know you got to roll shortly, but just bear with me here on this. This makes a point of what Chris had to say here. Honorable mentions for the year 2000. Surprise, surprise. Jay-Z. Ghostface Killer.
good.
But here's where I'm really torn here.
Dynasty Rock La Familia, Derrick.
Okay, thank you.
No,
I was trying to figure out which album that was. Okay.
Here's where I'm a little torn here when they talk about the year 2000 and who gets the honorable mention here. So somebody please explain this. You're not gonna like this, but I respect it because of the person. I just don't understand it. Andre 3000.
It's so disrespectful.
Andre, I love you. I do. But I'm trying to understand 2000?
I don't listen to
the year
anybody who
2000.
says,
No. Now hear me out here now. Hear me out. Let me explain why they said Andre 3000. Okay, y'all want to understand this? Hear me out. Meanwhile, they said after dropping consecutive platinum classics, Outkast's Andre 3000, not Outkast, Outkast's Andre 3000 finally enjoyed being one of the best rappers alive. He earned the distinction past his prime. But Andre's shine had previously been overshadowed by massive forces like Biggie and Tupac, they say. The real culprits behind why Outkast got booed at the 1995 Source Awards after already selling millions. Outkast gained wider recognition with the release of Stankonia and massive singles like B.O.B. and the group's first number one hit, Miss Jackson. Finally, as Andre assured we listened to what the South had to say. So you mean to tell me we're in 2000?
1,000 times, but only mention
Andre 3000. Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Now, if y'all got nothing else to critique this list about, that right there just says enough. What we need to know about this, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this out here now.
You know
I
what?
don't care who I offend. If you mention Andre 3000 as one of the top 10 rappers alive, if you say Andre 3000 is one of the GOATs, and in no way, shape, or form say the words Outkast or can name something from Big Boy, your opinion is invalidated forever. You don't know what you're talking about, and I don't respect it.
Mic drop.
See, to me, this is where that Ja Rule conversation kind of comes into fray here. I just try to understand why. If you're going like, I don't get it. I don't know. I can't. I mean, even with you and what you're saying about Nelly, Chris, I mean, I don't get, as much as I love Outkast and Andre 3000, you mean to tell me of all the years, they've been out since the 90s now, and you're going to tell me that they wait till 2000 to finally acknowledge Outkast in some kind of way, and then they don't even acknowledge Outkast. It's literally just 3 stacks. If you're Big Boy and you read this, how do you feel?
I mean,
He probably doesn't care.
Big Boy had to not care because it took Andre saying like, "Oh, Big Boy, I would take him like we had a war or we going into battle. I'll take Big Boy over me any day of the week." And people are like, "Oh, Andre was just being nice," and it's like, "Nah, y'all don't listen to the music."
Yeah.
Like Andre 3000 has a more colorful delivery. And I can admit, like, his delivery makes it so much easier to grasp his verses, but that doesn't make it better. like we all be caught up in the flash and the substance, and we get all caught up in the flash and we forget the substance because like I just find it really disrespectful, even though like it's the Midwest technically speaking. Nelly really should have did it because he opened a gateway for people who sound like they're from the South with that sound of country grammar. And my goodness, like Back for the First Time dropped. Like we're in Michigan blasting Ludacris. Like
I was
what do
about
you
to ask
mean?
about Ludacris.
Yeah.
He gets mentioned as we go along, but it's just not in this moment. But
I mean,
you know,
he should, but like, bruh, what's your fantasy? Man, Southern hospitality.
hear me out here. This is where things to me get really rocky. As we're in our decade at this point, so y'all can really legitimately hear me out here. Again, 2000 they say went to Eminem, so we go into 2001. Now you tell me if this makes sense here. Who you think got 2001, people? You guessed it. Your favorite rapper. None other than Jay-Z gets 2001. Why does he get 2001? Credentials, The Dynasty, Rock La Familia, The Blueprint, Jay-Z Unplugged, guest spots on Do My, and the Fiesta remix, you know, the one with the man that we can't talk about these days. Yeah, all that, 2001. Honorable mentions of that year, Eminem, Jadakiss, Ludacris. Ludacris hit his stride in 2001, according to them. He hit his stride in 01, following his 3 times platinum debut LP with the 3 times platinum Word of Mouth. The LP included hit singles, Area Codes, Rollout, highest charting single, which was his highest charting single, which was Rollout at that point. He also killed it as a feature rapper. 1 Minute Man for Missy Elliott, Bia Bia for Lil Jon. And then Jadakiss, for his part, was able to parlay a series of incredible singles. We Gonna Make It, Knock Yourself Out, Put Your Hands Up. I remember that. I do remember it. It was fresh off the Rough Riders. I remember that.
Wait, wasn't Ja Rule out in 01?
My points exactly.
He was there, baby.
Dominating charts. So again, if we're talking about charts here, Ja at this point was ruling the world.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Even with Jay-Z and all of them out, there was a point in time where DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule were being debated as like literally going neck for neck in the same label.
They had
them. How he's not an honorable.
They had Ja, Jay-Z. I think I want to say it was Nas on a magazine cover.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, so
that's why I was
discussing. It was discussing that.
So that's why I'm like, nowhere in the years of 99 to 2001, you couldn't have him at least as an honorable mention off singles alone.
Wait, wasn't Missy out?
Yeah, Missy was out too. So again, just saying, y'all. Again, Janine, I just want to know, how do you feel as a woman knowing that women aren't getting mentioned as much? Real quick, because this has to bother you, right?
It's almost expected though. Like, and it sucks, but it's expected to not have the woman representation in like the greatest of all times, because people are still trying to say, oh, she's a really good female rapper, versus being like, no, she's a fucking lyricist. Like,
also, yeah, because this is 2000. You realize Eve is out by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Eve was literally charting like crazy. She arguably outdid a lot of people like DMX and them when she came out with her albums. Nobody talks about that.
Woo.
Crazy, man.
So I think what they would have been better off doing, I'm gonna just be G with y'all because y'all writers, y'all understand this stuff for critique, man. Y'all would have looked a lot smarter if y'all just ranked like the top 5 songs of the year. Because
or something.
Because y'all got such an inconsistent like rating, because like one of my favorite songs all time, one of the few songs where they're like, yo, somebody held a gun to your head, you had to rap word for word. My literal first go-to song is We Gonna Make It by Jadakiss and Styles P.
Yeah.
Like I know that song. But then you also thinking about like what else dropped. Like Word of Mouth was fire, but yo, Ja went off with Pain Is Love. Like I'm Real with J-Lo, summer anthem, man.
That's what I was saying. Like I was
About,
like, it,
Always On Time. That put Ashanti on. And then
it did.
I don't care what anybody says. Out here in LA on my own with all the dope music that they got in their own sound, I will hop in the car on a Friday night and I will hear like, and Living It Up is gonna be playing.
Yeah.
Because when I hear Living It Up, like I'm thinking of like how often they use that on MTV. You walk into MTV cribs, cool, let me show you my crib. Like that's background music. Like it was balleristic, like visions in your ears.
Yeah.
Them senses ain't even the same.
Yeah.
And that's why this list is very interesting. And that's why I had to bring this to the forefront for y'all to make sure I wasn't the only one thinking some of this when I first initially saw. Shout out to the OTS Facebook group that actually, posted this link to this article, because they were debating about it in comments. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay, well, hold up. Let me check this out. And I look over it and I'm trying to see. And when it got to this time frame, I had beef here because I was like, wait a minute. They lost me around this time here, because I'll give you some of those other years, even though, again, we got, we got our own personal opinions. But how you don't have that man somewhere in there? But, I don't get it. 2002, guess who takes that, y'all? Eminem. Why? The 8 Mile soundtrack. The 8 Mile soundtrack. Yeah, Credentials. Oh, and the Eminem show, of course. The Eminem show as well is also why that. But they said that's because it was his best-selling album, the Eminem show.
So we're talking,
Yeah. Honorable mentions that year, though. Check this out. Cameron, Nas, and a guy on the come-up by the name of 50 Cent. I can kind of
drop the fix and Clips drop Lord Willing.
Again, this is middle school for a lot of us, y'all. So again, we remember 2002 quite well, and I'm just saying, if we're going mainstream here, how? Bro, keep in mind, like Chris, you said, you talked about eras. Also understand, y'all, the internet was around, but not an access where you knew a lot of underground stuff. How many of us can honestly say we knew the internet well enough where we could go find out who 50 Cent was and be like, oh man, we know about 50 Cent?
No. I mean, I knew about 50 Cent, I think around like 04. I want to say 03, 04. I don't remember anything about him in 02.
I knew about 50 Cent in 03.
See, my point's exactly, y'all. Yeah. None of us, because radio play is what dominated back then. People still listened to the radio back then, right?
Yes.
So you only knew who you heard on the radio.
Yes.
So
again, that must be the metric that they're going by, is popularity. Because
but that's a terrible. That's biased.
It's trash. It's trash.
Because if you talk about major metros, you can have your LA, you can have your Dallas Fort Worth, or your Atlanta. Pick either or. You know what I'm saying? You can have Detroit or Chicago, and then you can have like New York or DC. So if you literally spread it out, like.
I'm also going to mention Memphis in this because I know as somebody who grew up in Memphis, do you know who I always heard on the radio? If it wasn't obvious Memphis natives like a 3 6 Mafia or somebody, generally it was pretty much Master P, No Limit dominating the South. It was Juvenile. It was pretty much the southern eastern region. Anybody from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's who you heard. You didn't hear New York rappers in Memphis radio waves like that. Not unless it was just like that big of a song where you had to play it. Music videos, maybe, like on MTV or something, sure.
T.I. came out in 03 or 04.
Oh, we're going to get to that. Hold that thought. Nope.
I'm not going there yet.
Hold on. Hold that thought. Where you going, Chris? Where you going?
I just wanted to show some love real quick in 01 because Busta dropped Genesis, which gave us Pastor Cavassier and Break Your Neck.
Oh my
see?
God.
Look, Janine's like, see? You remember now, right? You see what gets looked over here?
Yeah,
So
and then I mean, well, two things, and they're actually really quick. One, for people who saw my reaction, ultimately I agree with Blueprint and Jay-Z being like the best of '01, because I think Blueprint might be one of the like dopest front to back albums, rap albums that ever dropped. I was just upset at the fact that they just like gave Jay-Z the cop out every year. But as nuts as like '01 was, Blueprint actually was like dumb solid as a classic. But for '02, I'm pissed at them because not only did they miss Country Grammar in 2000, but bruh, Nellyville dropped in '02.
Was
like,
yeah.
And Hot in Here is still a song that you see in commercials and everything to this day.
Bro, like Nellyville was so cold. Kelly was texting on Excel, and I don't even know we had text messaging yet.
See?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a sidekick, wasn't it?
Bro, she literally pulled up Sale.
About that. Yeah.
Man, she pulled up Sale A1 and was like, "Where you at?" And I'm like,
yeah.
See? Look, y'all know. So look, all that's to say, when you go into 2003, I think y'all kind of summed up who basically took that year.
Hot in Her, Air Force One.
2003, y'all, dominated and taken over by none other than, you guessed it, bulletproof wearing, shot 9 times glaring, also petty loving. Yeah, I'm talking about 50 Cent dominated 03, y'all. I'm not mad at it, but here's the reason why I am mad at it based off this list. You know why they want to bring this up? Let me tell you. Get rich or die trying. Get rich or die trying, right? Back number one hits. Oh shoot, my phone timed out on me. I'm gonna just sum it up. Basically, back-to-back number one hits, the Get Rich or Die Trying album. But more specifically, you know what it was they like to bring up? The fact that this man so-calledly destroyed another man's career by the name of Ja Rule. But I'm like, okay, so you can mention this, but you can't mention what Ja was doing before 50 was around. Here's my hot take and my arguable thought. If you're a New Yorker and you want to say otherwise, I'm sorry, but this is just my humble opinion. If it were not for Ja Rule, you wouldn't even have 50 Cent. What was his number one drive? Who was the person that fueled him the hardest? You have Get Rich or Die Trying because of Ja. He wanted to personally attack him.
I can't get with that. I'm sorry. You got to think about it. 50 was discovered by Jam Master J&M.
He was. But think about this. No label wanted 50. No label wanted him. Not one.
50 was, if we're going to be honest, 50 was the original Nipsey.
He was, and I give him credit on the mixtape era of things. But hear me out, though. Again, this is why I say that. Ja Rule was getting attacked by 50 Cent when he was on top of his game, and nobody knew who he was, except the streets, mainstream media, at a time where we just said, y'all just said it.
That's true.
Man, I did not know who 50 Cent was, because you're in an era where all you heard was radio. All you heard was Ja. Yes, he trailblazed, but again, how much of that matters if he was not so fueled and driven by whatever you want to say, the hate, the anger, the jealousy, whatever you want to say. How much of that was fueled by hatred on Ja Rule?
I actually
specifically attacking him.
Like 5%. And this is not discrediting like that, but we got to think about it. 50 Cent played chess. Like, this dude literally attacks people in broad daylight online. And unlike Kanye West, unlike Boosie, for posting the stuff that he's posted, 50 has not gotten his Instagram account like banned for whatever odd reason. Not only did he like get popularity with a star show, but he made 5 spinoffs of it and then decided to make another one with BMF. This dude has literally been around gangsters, literally has been caught like having a legit shootout with Game when they had beef. Like, not like this is rumor, like everybody knows it happened because the police were involved. They're like, no, this was a real deal. I'm shooting at 50, 50 shooting at me. Like, you don't get a bulletproof cap made for nothing. Yet this dude is welcomed around all types of white crowds. He was dating Chelsea Handler of all people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta think about like how 50's moving, because 50 understand the game. 50's like, I'ma do all this, but y'all not gonna pull my card because I know how y'all system work. You gonna be all bark, no bite, and watch me walk up in here. So Ja was just a ploy. Like, even when 50 wanted to sell wanted to sell like more views for BMF, he was like, bet. Everybody remembers my feud with Ja Rule. Nobody listening to Ja music, but watch me buy all the tickets to his concert so nobody can show up. And then it's like, oh man, 50 Cent's funny.
Petty, man.
He is, but and then even in all his posts, he'll be like hashtag BMF, hashtag stars, hashtag Leche Dumuri. And it's like, oh,
It's
all your brands.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because I was like, what is this? What is he saying? And I'm looking it up
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, he got a drink. Oh, he got headphones. Oh,
Mhm.
like even in I Get Money, I took quarter water, sold it in bottles for $2. Coca-Cola came and bought it for millions. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
50 is legit hustling, bro.
He is.
So that's why it's like all respect to that opinion, because I think that Ja and him had very real beef, but I think 50's actual prowess is what allowed him to make it like that. Because prior to Get Rich or Die Trying, he had what? How to Rob. And that's what
Right.
Jay mentioned him and said, like, I'm all about $1. What the is 50 cents? You know, he got it Fat Joe. He got it Missy. He was like, bet, y'all gonna get pissed off and mention me. And who was 50 Cent? Who was 50 Cent? Bet, let me drop his album. Because he dropped Beg for Mercy in 03 as well.
Mhm.
Ain't
Which
no
is
way
not
you,
mentioned on this at all.
right, you drop your debut album, start a group, and then drop another platinum album?
The majority of what this is talking about is single-handedly talking about Get Rich or Die Trying. And a few other things, but mostly Get Rich or Die Trying. Hence why it's that album of why he dominated. That and what he did to Ja is what made him dominate 03, according to this here. So that's why I'm like, okay. Because keep in mind, you know, Ja could have kept minding his business. He could have went the Drake route. The Drake went with Pusha T.
No, Drake
Good
had no
ass.
choice.
Well, yeah, Drake had,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Tap out.
you got it.
But wait, who the honorable mentions? Because
Honorable mentions?
I need
Okay, so the honorable mentions for that year, Jay-Z,
Of course.
better had.
Eminem,
That's weird.
and in Atlanta. First Atlanta mention, y'all. First Atlanta mention.
Hold on. Who though?
2 letters.
03?
T.I. 03. Yes. T.I. for 03.
Because Chicken and Beer dropped. That's I'm not mad at it.
Well,
And I only say
here's why. Finally, T.I. recovered from his debut's flop album and built buzz in the streets of Atlanta through a series of mixtapes and the smash underground hit. You know it. 24s.
I ain't gonna
Yeah.
front. That first album
24s. His scene-stealing guest verse on Never Scared grabbed the nation's attention, and his comeback LP, Trap Music, was released.
Loved it.
That's weird.
That was 03?
That was 03, yes. Which leads to 04. Who you think they took? None other than, you guessed it,
Jay-Z.
Atlanta got its first year it dominated thanks to the guy we just mentioned, T.I.
They wild.
Okay.
I can see why 04 went to T.I. I can definitely see why.
Did 04 go to T.I. because of 03?
It went to him because of Urban Legend, the slow burn of the 03's trap music, Down with the King guest spots on Soldier, the Goodies remix, and Stomp, which ended Lil Flip's career. Basically, that was the year he, stopped Lil Flip. Janean's laughing. That's when he stopped Lil Flip's momentum too, by the way. In that year.
Wasn't this
punched them in their throats? Yes, it was. It was. I already know what you're gonna mention. It was.
Okay.
College Dropout dropped in 04.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why that's not mentioned. And that's
whoa,
they're gonna talk about that in a second.
Nah, you can't not mention that.
They're gonna talk about that in a second. They talk about that one. Believe me, I know y'all. I know. We got to get to 2005 before that gets mentioned. You'll see. You'll see how long.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go into a long explanation. Like I promise, I'm not gonna go into.
Hold on. Let me just give you the honorable mentions of 04.
I better hear 3 names.
Are you ready?
No.
04 is honorable mentions. None other than Cameron.
That's not one of them.
50 Cent.
That's not one of them.
And The Game.
Nigga.
Hold on.
Oh,
Janine's reaction?
So Kanye is not even mentioned.
For 04? No. However, wait till we get to 05. Janine, you ready for 05?
Hold on, Dwayne. Like, I was in.
Hey.
Bro. God. No.
Wait. No, I'm curious because I know why y'all understanding about 04. So we getting into 05. But hear me out here.
But hold on, bro. They still left off Ludacris again.
They did.
He literally dropped Word of Mouth, Chicken the Beer, and Red Light District back to back to back. No mention. Eminem dropped Encore. You talking about sales? No mention. But then, like, as much
that was
as
all
I
over
love
pop radio.
Yep.
Bro. But as much as I love like Purple Haze, like, man, they really disappointed me right now.
So they gave that to T.I. over Luda.
For 04,
and
yes.
Kanye.
And I'm not gonna hold
04.
you. Like,
I think
Urban
because of the
Legend
momentum
was
of 03.
nuts. No, Urban Legend is a bona fide classic.
It's amazing. Yeah, I'm not doubting it, but
and man, it's so much happening right now because the documentary is a bona fide classic.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm just tripping.
But he's an honorable mention. So
it showed that his buzz was not just in Chicago.
Well,
at that time, that was New York, that was LA.
But hear me out. Hear me out. Do y'all even know the only reason they mentioned Game? Y'all really want to know the real reason?
I don't even know.
The only reason they mentioned Game in the honorable mention is because of 50's momentum still being ridden from 03. And they basically said that he rode off of 50.
So Game has no, man, you know what?
That's literally the reason why they broke up.
Because they were talking about basically how we do West Side Story and all of the singles from the documentary was all off of 50's momentum. And they're saying 50 made those songs with his presence on them. So that's why he gets these mentions.
Because Game dropped Dreams.
Yeah.
And then they still playing like Ye because Ye gave us Lupe and Backpack Rap.
That's what I was saying. Like, production wise, this was not a debut.
But like even past that, like another dude who like career had a resurgence like none other in 04. And we talking about domination? Bro, Twista dropped Kamikaze. I'm in class bumping Adrenaline Rush.
That's true.
Like Twista's career hit a second stride like crazy.
You know,
yeah, because he was on a feature run
with Kanye and Overnight Celebrity.
Yeah.
If y'all are that upset, Janine, I know you know. If y'all are this upset at 04, wait till you see 05, because I know Janine's ready. She knows. The Atlanta again is rising. Even though one would argue and say he's not technically from Atlanta, but you know, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, 2005 goes to none other than the snowman himself, Jeezy.
Hold on.
Credentials.
Let me see who came out.
Who was then known as Young Credentials for that.
Ain't no way.
Credentials for that, by the way. For Jeezy, it's Let's Get It Thug Motivation 101, Trap or Die, and Boys in the Hood.
Ain't no way they just did this. Yo. Yo. Oh.
Didn't late registration come out in 05?
No way.
Didn't late registration come out in 05?
I do believe so, yes.
Bro, little brother, nigga, B by Comic came out.
The documentary came out.
Bro, nigga, B.
05.
Yeah, man. I'm not feeling that one, bro.
Not feeling it?
I'm not feeling that.
How about, let me give y'all some honorable mentions for 05. Let's see if y'all feeling any of these honorable mentions then. 50 Cent.
No.
The Game.
Yeah.
And Common. It's like, yeah.
Yo, hold up, man. I mean, no, and those don't no disrespect to Common. I love Common. I love Common. But God damn,
like,
I don't even.
I'm still, bro. I almost
it's like
carpet.
Look,
Did they not? Wait, did you not say Kanye?
nope. Oh, we're getting to that. You still got a ways before you get to Kanye, buddy.
Late registration.
No. Late
Late registration was huge.
Bro, late registration.
B. Well, I'm gonna do this next. That's 2005. So
bro,
2002.
God, bro.
Well, hold on. Time out. Wait. Stop. Hold the presses. 2006. 2006.
So they're delaying years. They're delaying years then.
2006. I think you know. 2006 goes none other to Janean's favorite rapper. You know, the guy with the dreads and the tattoos, you know, with the Louisiana style. I'm talking about Lil Weezy, Lil Wayne, baby. 2006, they say goes to none other than Lil Wayne.
Who are the honorable mentions, please?
Oh, we getting to that.
Stupid, man.
Now, let me give you the credentials. Hold on. Let me give you the credentials on why Lil Wayne took 2006.
Hold on. Why am I so upset?
Well, hold on. So here's the honorable mentions. Well, no, here's the credentials behind Lil Wayne's 06 dominance to them. Okay. So the credentials for Lil Wayne, sorry, I'm back in 2005 somehow. Let me get back. Where is it? There we go. 2006. Lil Wayne's credentials for that year. 2005 is the Carter 2. Like Father, Like Son. Dedication 2. And it just timed out on me again because it's just such a long list. But, you know, those were some of the ones, just to name a few of why they felt Lil Wayne took 2006.
Bro, there are literally 5.
Okay, so let me see.
If they give 3 out of 5, I'll be remotely.
For those honorable mentions you mentioned?
Yes, because I'm talking about classics dropped.
Okay, well, you know what? 2006 here, according to them, good old complex.
In order to not get myself drunk, I'm gonna take a shot for everyone they miss out of 3.
I think Janean's gonna love that one. Hold on. Let's see. Honorable mentions for 2006. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Oh God, I just realized. Wow. Honorable mentions for 2006, y'all. Here we go. T.I.
That's one.
That's what I was about to say.
Pusha T.
They should say the clips, but I'll let them make it because it was
and
better.
Lupe Fiasco.
All right. They don't want me to drink. Look at you guys. All right.
It says, however, Pusha T might have been the best coke rapper alive. Whatever it lacked in commercial appeal, Hell Hath No Fury made up for it in cold mechanical raps. Pusha iced every one of his bars detached and delivered them like he was about to hock a loogie.
Bro,
Why-
Malice is the
why-
better rapper.
Well, I was about to say, why are they only talking about one rapper
The same way they did with
in the duo?
Outkast.
That doesn't even
See?
make sense.
Like
Apparently-
anybody who listens knows Malice is better.
He is.
Oh my goodness. And
Hey man,
oh, and
So-
Ghostface
so-
dropped Fish Scale, and I would cut the lawn listening to Fish Scale. The
Uh,
kilo is 1,000 grams.
let me ask you,
Anyway.
Nick. 2006. So you're in full agreement on your boy Wayne, right? Is there any honorable mention you remember from that year back then? You know, this is the high school days for us at this point.
Yeah.
You remember anybody outside of Wayne from 06 that you can think of that wasn't mentioned here?
All I knew was Wayne, so I can't even lie to you.
So all she
That's
knows
all I
Wayne?
listened to. I'm sorry.
I do
Hey,
agree. That was all she listened to, y'all.
You listened to
Seriously.
T.I. back then?
I mean, yeah, but not more than Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Wayne's on the radio everywhere, all day, every
He was
day.
everywhere. Yeah, he
Like,
was.
Yes,
He
so-
was everywhere. Yeah.
Yes. So, 2007. I'm pretty sure y'all know who
Real
took
quick.
this.
I just want to give props. I'm not gonna give no explanation. I just want to give shout outs to what I think the literal best album of second best album of 06 was. I think Food and Liquor was the best. But I think the second best might have been Big Bang Theory by Busta. It's supremely underrated album, but I think the Big Bang Theory might be Busta's greatest album. It just
I can
didn't
see
get
that.
all the appeal as all the other albums.
I can see that.
And of course Jay Dilla's Opus Donuts.
I can see that.
Mhm.
Just like I could see 2007 going to this man that they label the guy that y'all have been asking about for so long now, since about, 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, 2007, they gave to none other than Mr. Yeezy himself, Kanye West.
They waited till
Credentials.
7 to do that.
Credentials. Graduation is the reason he got
Mm-mm.
No.
2007. Because of this reason, he single-handedly went one-on-one with 50 Cent and he destroyed him
So
in album sales. So that's why. Also, just because of, as they mentioned, they say Graduation had just so much different vibes to it from, the EDM-like style of, Stronger, which they say was his bigger and best hit.
why are they acting as if this is like the first time he came out with a really good project?
Well, I'm going to tell you because they're going to explain that. So what you're about to say, I'm pulling it up because it timed out on me again. So let me bring that up of why they just now decided to mention him in 2007 outside of the whole 50 Cent war thing, the publicity war, as you will. Let's
He
see,
literally
where was
had
that?
2 amazing albums before that.
Let's see, where was that at, man? You would have thought they had made a better article thing with this duo. Come on, if you're gonna make a long list like this, come on, make it where it doesn't time out on you every time.
Yeah,
Jeez,
you're
man.
asking
And I'm gonna
too
take a
much.
shot for the 3 people that they gonna miss because they're.
I'm gonna get you on. I got you on the honorable mentions. Don't worry, Mr. Chris. I got you. I got you on the album. But
Thanks.
so
to them.
2007. So because of Graduation and his public sales battle with 50 Cent, several huge hits like Can't Tell Me Nothing, Stronger, Good Life, and Homecoming, Kanye's career had been building toward this moment all along. By 07, the stars had aligned and Yeezy became the epicenter of hip hop, both sonically and artistically, despite releasing 2 stellar albums, they say. Despite releasing 2 stellar albums in 04 and 05, he was a great producer and great song maker, but never a great MC. That's what they say.
What?
And that's why he was
Mayonnaise
never
colored
mentioned.
beans. I push Miracle Whips.
Yeah,
His
that's
hu-
That last episode too.
yeah.
He did. His humor was still present as he spit the most Kanye line ever. I'm fly like Malcolm X by any means necessary. The real change was in Yeezy's now fluent delivery. No longer did he flub verses with over exposition. Whatever his words lacked in humility, they made up for in maturity. On to the honorable mentions of that year, by the way. This is
yeah,
where it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get you. All right, we got Janean's favorite rapper and his favorite rapper, all she ever listened to. You already know it's coming. Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. And y'all gonna love this one because he's back. Only this guy. Now I can kind of understand why they just say this guy, but Andre 3000. So going back to 3 Stacks, right? Here was their explanation behind that one. I can kind of understand, not their explanation, but I understand why he was kind of mentioned. A slightly disappointing in hindsight event was the return of Andre 3000. They kind of messed him up in the process of saying it's a disappointing return. 3 Stacks' comeback, highlighted by a series of memorable guest verses, was ultimately a tease for a solo project that never materialized. Still, you couldn't shake the feeling that every time he dropped a verse, it became the most talked about 16 of any given moment. For that, I can kind of get. I mean, the white tee, well, to me, looked like a nightgown. Me and Mama said to the shirt in 2 sizes. I mean, yeah, I get it. I kind of get it.
Now, because I know more than these people who happen to have a job that I don't have. The best album of 2007 is an artist that a lot of people unfortunately don't know. And they should, because he literally has not missed on any project. But not to be all Stephen A. Smith with it, but what I feel like also counts as one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. And I'm not mincing my words with that. You can check a lot of lists, and people who actually know what they're talking about will mention this one. But Blue is an artist out of LA, and he hooked up with a producer, white dude, stupid cold, named Exile. Blue and Exile have released 3 albums together. The first of which came out in 2007, called Below the Heavens. Below the Heavens is sincerely one of the greatest pure hip hop albums that has ever dropped. And I felt like I was late to the game because I didn't find out about this until 2011. Actually, and I mean, I got personal reasons attached to that album because that album helped me fight depression. That album helped me through the death of one of my friends, like one of my close friends from childhood who died like when we was 21. And you know, outside of that, Blue was just spitting. He was literally just spitting. It was like hip hop to the core. You would have thought Buddy was from the East Coast, but he's from the West. But like he did it with like such a nasty flair. And folks don't know about him, sadly, because he ended up having a massive drug addiction that derailed a lot of his career. But he ended up dropping 2 more albums. One called Give Your Flowers While You Can Smell Them, and then another one, I forgot the name of it, that dropped in 2020, also with Exile. But look him up, BLU ampersand Exile, Below the Heavens. If I'm lying, I'm flying. One of the greatest hip hop albums ever made. Period.
Respect. Okay. Okay. Well, that's 2007, and 2008.
Man, y'all also drunk. They're gonna get me pissed.
2008, it's pretty apparent. Janine knows, again, that year belongs to her also favorite, loving, #1 rapper of 2008. Graduation year for you, boy. Mr. Lil Dwayne Carter took 2008 because of, as you know, that one album that they called the Carter 3, which featured all of those hits and then some. Let me see how they word this here. Let's see. We're still sorry. They really got to work on these. Hold on. There we go. Hold on. Let me come back. Hold on. There we go.
Oh man.
2008. There we go. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So it was basically they gave it to him because of, like you said, at this point he had Carter 3 out. And so they said the credentials was Carter 3, Dedication 3, 4 top 20 singles, Loving This Club Part 2, My Life, Can't Believe It, Swagger Like Us, Turning Me On. Wayne's commercial, creative, and cultural ascent basically reached its peak in 2008. So they feel like that was peak year Wayne. After that, they felt like that was peak year Wayne at that point.
Like everything else after that was just not it, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, according to them. I think this is also, okay. So their honorable mentions for that year, T.I., Young Jeezy, and Kanye West.
No, man, bro. This is nigga.
He's like, hey, as long as Wayne got it, I'm cool.
Right. I mean, no. I would no. Wayne deserved 08. I'm not gonna like hold that from him at all. Carter 3 is nuts. But they miss White Van Music with Jake One. And people don't know Jake One. He's a producer. So when you got producer-led albums, they got a bunch of dope features. White Van Music is nuts. But for the second time, 06, they missed Port of Miami with Rick Ross. And then 08, they done missed Triller. Like, what we doing?
Yeah.
Like Rick Ross, legit from 06 to probably about 2020 was the most consistent rapper we had seen since Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the bars were on that same level, but consistency, easy money. He did not drop a dud, even when he switched up styles in like 08 or 09, like with everything like Big Meech, Larry Hoop, like that whole like realm. He still didn't miss, man, and they keep doing Rick Ross dirty.
Well, then you go ahead, Derrick. I heard a point coming out of there right
now. Well, I mean, y'all remember? Okay, so this is gonna sound pretty funny, but Soulja Boy was pretty big back then too. Kiss Me Through the Phone was like on MySpace and everything.
Yeah,
like
another trailblazer, by the way,
because was really big.
Another trailblazer, because Chris brought that up earlier when he talked about some of those trailblazers. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is when social media was beginning to be born.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it was was that 08?
So yeah, he started
because MySpace
actually went commercial.
Like
06, Applebee's commercial.
Yeah.
In like 08.
Yeah, but like that was one of the biggest songs you heard on MySpace. Anytime you went to somebody's profile, that was one of the top 5 tracks, right? So
this was also the ringtones era. By the
ringtone era. That was one of the biggest ones too. Kiss Me Through the Phone was one of the biggest ringtones.
You have to count that. Just saying.
I'm not about to hold you. They about to slaw 2009 up so tough. I already know.
Yeah, because that's a good transition. You know who took that one? Ladies and gentlemen.
I don't.
I don't know. It's probably Drake.
No, it is not Drake. Do you know who took 2009, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God, this is gonna shock them.
They're gonna give it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Eminem.
The Rock in the building has taken over yet again.
That's not bad.
When did he come out in 09?
Jay-Z in 2009. Blueprint 3.
That's right.
First number one hit. Okay. First number one hit of his career. 11th number one album.
Okay.
In the wake of Lil Wayne's utter domination of 08 and 09 was, to say the least, a rebuilding year. Kanye had become an auto-tune performance artist. Lil Wayne began pushing his Young Money crew into the void. And rookie artists started coming from the spectrum of that. Amidst all the confusion, a veteran stepped up and released the biggest single of his career. So they just felt like that's why Jay-Z took it, because all of those reasons.
Before you finish, let me finish writing down who I think should be an honorable mention then, because I think somebody else could have gotten 09, but I'm not mad at Blueprint 3.
Ooh.
So I'm going to continue taking shots, unfortunately, for all of the mistakes they keep making. because '09 definitely had probably one of the most lush production like albums. Oh, hey, bro, just good. Let me not delay my liver.
Want me to mention those honorable mentions of '09? I got you.
Yeah.
Janine's gonna love this one. Well, first, let's go with the obvious. Honorable mention number 1 goes to none other than Kanye West. Honorable mention.
He came out in 08.
Honorable mention number 2. Honorable mention number 2.
I'm sorry. Oh, y'all shot.
Uh-oh. Yo, yeah. Honorable mention number 2 goes to somebody Derrick actually kind of mentioned and thought took over this year. I'm talking about none other than Janine's other favorite rapper, Drake.
Rapper.
Rapper.
Oh, wait. No, speaking of a rapper, let's talk about somebody who's a rapper by using another word. I would call him more of a rapper. Get it? He's a rapper.
Oh,
Gucci.
State versus Roger Davis.
Gucci Man. Yes. 2009. Yes. I'm actually not mad at that, Cuzzo. I don't think you would be either, given that was your graduation year. See, we look at this for two different reasons. Me, I started college at this point, so this was kind of when I realized that Memphians, for whatever reason, bumped nothing but Gucci Mane everywhere. It was Gucci Mane, Lil Boozy, and
hold on.
He had Gucci on his.
Did he? Okay.
Versus Roderick Davis.
Yeah.
I did my struggle, but y'all see it.
So, yep. Yes,
I'm so glad I don't have to take that shot because I'm like, yo, I'm getting drunk.
Yeah. I can understand that, brother. I can totally understand that. So
in my mind, I didn't think they were gonna be this bad.
Yeah. Kid Cudi was big too, right? That was
he dropped Man on the Moon.
09. Ooh.
But
there's a thought.
Oh yeah. Tell me the other honorable mentions. I'm not even gonna look them up.
For 09?
Yeah.
No, that was it. It was Drake, Gucci Mane, and Kanye West. They only do 3 honorable mentions.
What did Drake come out with 09? It was a mixtape.
Nothing.
Right?
I'm gonna mention it. Hold on. They give their explanations for each one. So I got you, dog.
He dropped the mixtape that he later capitalized on, but it shouldn't have been listed.
Okay, so Drake, it said Drake, meanwhile, had begun to show signs that he was really about to be that successful. His So Far Gone EP was released in late 09. Best I Ever Had became his first legitimate smash, topping the hip-hop charts and reaching number 2 on the Hot 100. Successful, Forever, and I'm Going In, all of which charted well, rounded out his accomplishments for the year. The first, which it became evident that the star was born.
This was also when he had that Sprite commercial too, right?
Mm-hmm. And in Gucci Mane's case, rounding out the honorable mentions is Gucci Mane, easily the most prolific artist on this list, rose up from his rabble-rousing grassroots, flooding the market without oversaturating it, releasing a handful of mixtapes that are now considered classics with Writings on the Wall, Burr Print, the movie 3D, while his singles Wasted and Lemonade had considerable chart traction.
Slaughterhouse came out in 09, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you put Crooked Eye, Joel Ortiz, Joe Budden, who was spitting, and Royce the 5'9" on the album, and for whatever odd reason, 4 powerhouse rappers don't make the best rapper. Okay, whatever. But then one of my favorite rappers of all time, I think one of the foremost lyricists we've ever heard in our lives, Wale dropped his debut that year.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Since we just celebrated some Wale in our What's in Your Ears playlist. Check out the Instagram for that, y'all. But shout out to Janine who does this.
Yes, and lastly, and not to take away from that because
she's like, not gonna let me have my moment, Chris.
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, Janine.
The shots are kicking in. It's fine. It's cool.
Uh-oh.
And I know it's not personal. It's all good.
Come on now.
It's like so much love right now. Like I don't even want to bully you right
Oh, there we
now.
go.
I'll be bullying her, and it's fun. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, Lord.
But Deeper Than Rap by Rick Ross. You got to think about Deeper Than Rap had majority Cool and Dre production, not production from the Runners. So a lot of his production changed from a lot of bass heavy and 808s to a lot of live instrumentation based stuff. So you had a lot more strings like from pianos and violins. You had a lot more stacks of the vocals and a lot of singing. Because for people who didn't know, like Cool and Dre used to be part of a barbershop quartet. So when you would hear some of those lyrics on there, not only did they write those, but they actually arranged the harmonies too. So they were smart enough to make sure that their vocals went with the production they made so they could bring the most out of it. And Rick Ross, I think, probably dropped his like best album in Deeper Than Rap because one of my favorite songs off of that album is Rich Off Cocaine. Because Rich Off Cocaine probably had the smoothest vocals and storytelling and production. Like everything meshed together so well, you don't even realize what you're listening to. Like you actually have to focus on a specific thing to appreciate it, like that deep. And I'm just really shocked for the third album in a row. The same dude who gave us like Push It, like I mean Hustling, like the same dude who gave us like Triller, also elevated T-Pain, and then the same dude who kept Cool and Dre afloat.
T-Pain.
You feel me now?
They don't consider him a rapper, so that's why he's not in this. I know.
Wait. T-Pain's not a rapper?
Not according to them. So
yeah, Complex can go to hell.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Derrick, I love the reactions tonight. If nothing else, Janean, I'm like you. I've been loving these reactions.
Nah, real talk though.
These reactions.
Complex. We will gladly take a sponsorship to help y'all out. Because y'all need it.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They're always open.
T-Pain. Everyone basically considered T-Pain as someone that destroyed hip hop because of autotune. The way that it popularized because he utilized it. He kind of like evolution, like he was instrumental in the evolution of hip hop as well. And that was what 08, 09. Like that's interesting. That's interesting. Like Jay-Z
he had an album said rapper turned singer.
Yeah. But he also did Death of Autotune.
What one of the hardest things about being in music is being a musician. Because like I'm not just a rapper, I'm not just a guy who likes music.
Well then why do they consider Drake a rapper then? Because he's a singer too.
People don't know music, they just like music. And this I will like qualify by saying no disrespect, but it's difficult when you hear people try to invalidate T-Pain, and it was like, nah, T-Pain can't sing without auto-tune, and it's like, no,
he can literally sing without auto-tune.
Literally can sing without.
Yes, like I know T-Pain's mentor. T-Pain's mentor is like personal friends with my pastor back home in little old Saginaw, Michigan. Ben Tankard used to come to our church all the time. So I have been seeing Ben
heard in years.
But that's what I'm saying. So Ben Tankard, as clean as he is on the keys and music production, is the person who taught T-Pain how to play piano. So T-Pain knows legitimate bona fide music theory. Like T-Pain ain't just doing this stuff for the fun of it. He did it because it sounded cool. But if people actually listen to it, they would hear those elements. But all they hear is auto-tune. I'm shutting it off. And it wasn't until I think T-Pain finally sang the national anthem. I forgot which baseball game it was at, but he sang the national anthem. And when he did that, I was tripping out at the end of it because I heard what he did. Mm-hmm. It was like, for the home of the brave. He didn't do it like that. It was like, for the home of the... And like, it was like one of those intermittent notes, what we call dissonance, for people who are unfamiliar. anytime you have something that's called dissonant, it's one of those weird things you like, oh, that's got a twang to it, but it don't sit right with you until you end it on something that's beautiful. And that's what we call resolving the dissonance. And the fact that T-Pain on the spot saying that, harmonizing with the background, and it's like, if y'all don't give this man his respect,
he's one of those guys that's just not going to get the respect that he deserves until he's gone.
And I hate that, man.
That
like,
sucks so bad.
His flow is on Busta Rhymes level.
Yeah.
His like vocals are better than literally 80% of the industry. And half the hits he dropped, he said it himself. He was like, man, I was smoking heavy on Cigs and Black and Milds. And he's like, stop that. And you hear his vocals clean up. So it's like, wait.
Because Charlemagne got on him about not being able to sing.
As was like, so a dude who's singing can still hit his notes better than y'all, and then y'all trying to invalidate him?
Yeah.
Man, miss me.
And this is what, 09? We haven't
That's
gotten
09.
10, right? Shit.
Well, that's the perfect segue. So right here is where I'm going to speed through this in a good way. Miss Janine does have to exit stage left. Janine.
I had to get to my graduation year, and I had to hear a couple people from the town.
From your graduation. Unfortunately, I didn't get to mention that your girl, Nicki Minaj, also takes the crown for one of these years in the 2010s. Okay. Actually, I think a couple of years they give her spaced out. But yes, just so you know, we are now in the 2010s era. We're about to kind of do a speed round here because we've been doing this. And you took it like a champ, Cuzzo. So, thank you for bowing out gracefully. Any final thoughts coming from you before we allow you to exit stage left?
It's hard to go through these lists because it's so frustrating. Chris has punched air. He has taken shots. He's about it's so, because when it comes to trying to rate music, it's all like opinion. And then especially when you're so passionate about it and you get lists where you're like, you didn't even consider this person. You didn't even consider this. And then you think, what criteria are y'all doing? It's always frustrating, but it's always a fun conversation. It's cool. And I look forward to more.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So y'all, thank y'all so much again. And like I said, we'll fast track this as Janine is exiting stage left. Thank you so much again. We'll catch y'all next week with her for show. Absolutely. Cuzzo, thank you so much.